Yeah.
Yeah, smart. Do it a little. Let's get the wrap up time and the.
Let's do it. Happy New Year, brother.
Happy New Year. I'm not the singer.
Hey, man. I think everybody can sing.
Everybody cannot sing.
I don't know. I think they can. I think
my dad says the same thing. Everybody can sing, and he was a vocal music instructor for years, and I was like, some people just.
Dude, let me tell you. So I used to teach lessons years ago, and I had a guy who was, I'd probably safe to say, no offense to him if he's listening, tone deaf. You know, not like as an insult, but maybe scientifically tone deaf.
Yeah.
I would say, hit the piano, ding, and I'd say sing that, and he'd be like, huh. It was just completely off, And so he was a mathematician. Smart dude.
Really?
Real smart dude. So I was like, how am I going to get this guy to sing on pitch? So I had him download a guitar tuner, and I had him hit the note on the piano and watch where the pitch went numerically. It was one of those tuners with you can see the actual frequency. And then I would say, then sing your pitch into the phone. And when he did it, he was like, whoa. And I'm like, now just slide your voice around till you match the pitch.
Right.
And he got it. And dude, after like a month, he was able to carry a tune. And he was emotional about it. He's like, I never thought I'd be able to do it. And he's like, and actually I can hear it now. So I think everyone can do it.
If you have vocal cords, you can sing.
If you can speak, you can sing. That's my notion. I guess that's like, I don't know if it's true. You're more the athlete. If you can walk, you can run. You think that's true?
Yeah. Right? Same.
I guess unless something's broken, right?
I'm still not going to sing.
And I'm still not going to run.
Still ain't happening. Happy birthday, singing happy birthday is like, I hate it.
Dude, I got to say, that's probably one of the songs that people hate singing most.
It's so on the spot.
It's
and like
brutal.
Everybody's brutal.
Everyone. If you have a group of 50 people, everyone's going,
yeah, it's like
until the name comes up. Dear Mike.
Everybody does it. Everybody does it. That's so funny.
It's hilarious, man.
But my dad, though, the vocal music guy, he was in the background. Happy birthday.
That was my father.
Yeah,
he was harmonizing.
I was like, Dad, really?
Geez. We still make like counterpoint. Happy birthday.
We still make fun of him to this day. Like my brother-in-law Lawrence and I, we'll just like we'll do the whole like
the vibrato.
The whole
happy birthday. That's so funny, man. That is so funny.
That's a true story.
But I guess before we started rolling today, we were talking about work ethic.
Yes.
And I guess if you can talk, you can sing. If you can walk, you can run. That might be an interesting segue into the topic.
What is that analogy? If you have good work ethic, what is that?
Exactly. So I think what it means to me is if you can't currently sing, but you can talk and you want to sing.
Right.
I don't like using the word work hard. Because I think working hard is different than working smart.
Right.
But if you work toward it with a focus, you will be able to sing. And it's your ethic, your work ethic, that will get you that result.
So it's straight desire.
Absolutely.
That's all it is.
Absolutely. Recount the story you were telling me earlier about your basketball days as a young boy.
So on we got on this work ethic topic, and what is it, and what is it not, and what's work smarter and what's work harder, and then so Rich and I before this we got into this whole conversation about Rich on the keys and how he learned and what he had to go through as a child to obviously get where he is now, and so I came back at Rich and I said I was a basketball diehard growing up in grammar school and high school, and I was like starting to think to Rich's analogy of how he got to where he is, and staying home, not being able to play with his friends outside. His dad made him really go at it and all the skills and all that stuff while everybody's out. I was like, wow, I used to dribble on my parents' driveway, which was like from 1964, never been repaved, so it had holes and there's a water puddle and there's
moon craters,
huge stones and small stones, and it didn't matter if it was in the the winter in a blizzard, I'd clear it off and I'd have mittens on, but I would dribble on the driveway know my spots, know where to go. I know there I had to go around the back, through the legs this way, up the other hand. That was the foundation of what hard work for me was. So, and it was out of love.
Yeah.
I loved doing it.
Did
I
it
loved
feel
doing
like
it.
work while you were doing it?
It was a time warp. It was this, where do you go when that happens? When you're doing something you love, when you are in that zone, the zone as athletes call it, or zones musicians call it, what is that? Like where does time go? What's happening? So work ethic for me is just the desire and the love for it. If you're working hard, I don't think you're doing what you really want to do. That could go both ways. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess what you want to do can be taken a couple ways, right? I mean, because I feel like when you were out there dribbling, probably in the freezing cold too, you know, it didn't matter whether or not you were sick or whatever. You still had that desire to work on that skill, and I think to some extent you probably still wanted to, even if you kind of didn't feel motivated to do it. I still think you had a want. Yeah, you know, and that's I think that's a gift. I think you were given a gift of being a passionate person who knew what you wanted to do, you know?
And it goes in, whether it's keyboard or basketball or business or the wedding industry, you gotta want it more than anything.
Absolutely.
Like, you just gotta want it.
Absolutely.
If you don't, what does hard work mean? What does it matter?
Yep.
If you don't want it, then it's gonna die.
Totally. I think people get confused too. You know, I think people equate, you know, you just, all you have to do is go on social media, go on Instagram, and everybody's a life coach, everybody's a business consultant and all this kind of stuff. You see all these motivational memes and things like that, which I'm guilty of going down the trap because they do actually make me feel good. But I think a lot of people who don't have that focus yet and they read these kind of things like, you know, it's all about the grind. It's all about the hustle. Wake up and grind. Wake up and hustle. I think people equate it to like struggle, hardship.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a struggle. If
Not
you
at all.
want to do it, it shouldn't
joy.
be a struggle. Yeah. You should look forward to it, man. When you open your eyes, like podcast day, I open my eyes and I'm like, oh, it's podcast day.
Let's go.
You know, like days where the band is doing a show, I'm like, wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh yeah, tonight's our show, man. It's going to be a cool night tonight. You know, I don't like the notion of like the daily struggle.
No.
You know, or like I don't even like calling it a grind anymore. I used to call it a grind. I used to call it hustling. Now I just say I'm living the dream.
Yeah, that grind and it's just, it's so weird where society is taking that. Why is
Totally
it a grind?
weird. I don't know. To me, that's not motivation.
No, that's like a grind. You know what hard work is to me? It's what I used to do before all of this, or while I was doing it.
100%.
I was painting mansions in Navesink and Rumson on 40-foot ladders in 108-degree weather.
Wow.
That's hard work.
That's a grind.
That's you know,
a grind.
and don't get me wrong. Like my family, you know, to this day still, they're teachers. They're like that. That is, to me, that's hard work.
For sure.
To me, teachers out there, there's wedding professionals out there. It's all perception.
It is. I think it's just all being honest with yourself.
What is hard work to you?
To me, you know, I think hard work is doing something I don't want to be doing.
Exactly.
You know, and if I don't want to do it, that probably means I don't want the result that I'm going to get from that work. So,
and if you're doing what you want to do, is it really a grind?
Not at all.
Why do they name it?
I don't know. I don't get it.
It's this whole category.
I really don't get it.
And these are people like I follow, like I don't want to say names, but like I love these guys. I've met them. I've hung out with them. And it's like they're even saying it. I'm like, there's stuff in the wedding industry that's like brutal. It's like taxing. It's tolling. Like you don't want to do it. But that goes in.
That's just part of the game.
With your husband or your wife or
Absolutely.
like the same thing. So
100%.
I would love to put an end to it, especially for myself. I know you've done it. Like I've gotten there. It's like there's no grind. There's no.
It shouldn't be.
No.
I think something I stumbled onto, a little mantra that I came up with years ago, and Kat was like, "I like that. I'm gonna start saying that." I said, "Life is as hard as you want it to be."
Yeah.
When people I think people just for years and years were so conditioned
Right.
to say life is hard, then you
Right.
die.
Right.
Or you say to somebody dude, I'll tell you right now, one thing in the world that pisses me off more than anything else is when I ask someone how they're doing.
Right.
And they go, man, just getting by.
Hanging in there. Yeah.
You're just
Gonna
getting
die
by.
soon.
That's what that means to me. That's the literal translation. You're just getting by?
Really?
Dude, do you know how blessed you are to be alive right now?
Go
you
walk
know how
in the
lucky
city,
you are?
see some poor people on the streets under bridges, and some of those guys, you go and ask them how's it going, they're like
Chilling.
different. It's all perspective, and it's all
perspective.
it's such a funny idea that it's hard work has to be this or hard work has to be that.
I think it's focus. I think focus.
Which I was going to say goes with persistence.
Yeah.
Persistence can be hard work, but if you really love it, time flies by. For me,
100%, man.
it's like
100%. We just did a show last night at the Hard Rock, and 3-hour show, and we were going into the third set,
right.
and we were like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
We're just getting warmed up, emotionally,
In the zone.
It's
In the zone.
Can't believe it. I can't believe what just happened.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe that just happened. It feels like we played 2 songs. We played 30. It's
don't
just
you?
so weird.
I want to find the zone for
Yeah.
every aspect of my life.
Me too, man.
Like
Absolutely.
every aspect.
Me
Can
too.
you imagine? That.
That's got to be bliss. That's got to be blissful, right?
I mean, isn't it? It's ultimately the top phase of enlightenment.
Yeah.
That's when you get into the weird. Next time you see us, I'm gonna be wearing a robe and shaved head.
Shaved head. He's gonna have a bowl.
Tibetan bowl. Actually, it's a great question for the audience and for you. What would you say is the hardest or the most challenging job position in the wedding world? Is it the planners?
Oh, man.
Is it the photographer? Because you start analyzing what they have to go through. Planners out there, they're dealing with, they're 6 months to a year or more before the wedding actually happens. So what's what in your eyes, and you can't say your own thing or
Okay.
what's your,
Gosh, that's a tough question, man. I mean, I have so many answers in my head ready to go, but they're all kind of biased to some degree.
Yeah.
It's funny. We were talking about cooking earlier.
yes.
After music,
Yeah.
food and cooking is my other passion.
Yep.
So I have no idea how a catering chef
250
prepares
250 steaks at 1 minute.
amazing food.
Yeah.
For dude, if I have to cook
For 2 people.
for 2 people, I'm good.
Yeah.
3 people, disaster. I'm a mess. I'm a mess. This kitchen's on fire. The smoke alarms are going off, and I love to cook.
Yeah.
But I feel that pressure. I feel that insane pressure. So I don't know. I think in one of our old episodes we talked about the kitchen check and loading in through the kitchen stuff. So I've seen my share of commercial kitchens.
Yep.
And dude, there is nothing more intimidating to me than seeing one guy or girl and 40 filet mignons on a grill, and they're checking every single one of them. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
I'll lose my mind.
Because if one of them comes out bad,
Bad review.
the whole place sucks.
Bad review. It's
I
all it
hate this
takes.
place. Don't get married there. I had a filet mignon. It was like leather.
Yeah, it was frozen.
Or something. Yeah.
Yep.
So for me, I think just because I have this weird obsession with cooking and food and stuff like that, I definitely know. I could probably answer it like this. If there's one job I would not want in the wedding industry, it'd probably be the catering chef.
Yeah. Oh,
The
my
head
God.
chef.
Yeah. That terrifies
That'd be
me.
tough for me, man.
That terrifies me.
Yeah. How about you? What do you think the hardest thing is?
I'm going, man, after, wedding establishment born about 2 years ago now, and, I've been through a lot in such a short period of time learning the different businesses and whatnot. After this 2-year process, I have learned I would be terrified to be a florist.
Wow, really?
You have literally, first of all, months and months of preparation. You have the warehouse you need, the staff, the crew, because brides, grooms come in, they want this elaborate so-and-so. The wedding's at night. There's also a day wedding at the facility. You have literally, some cases, an hour to basically redo all the centerpieces, potentially all the linens, all the, if that's what your florist does, sometimes they do that, all the plates, the napkins, the bouquets, the flower walls, you name it, that absolutely terrifies me. And you're dealing with a living product.
That's true.
We walk in, I got a DJ board, no, this is stuff that's ordered a week or sooner. You have to keep it alive.
Right.
And
fresh.
And then you're dealing with tariffs, new tax tariffs overseas. The prices go up. So I've seen a lot of florists, a lot of those kinds of businesses struggle for that reason. That's my hard work.
Yeah.
Like, job.
Yeah.
That's, for me, I look at that. But then you have, some of the florists out there that's not hard work. They love it.
Sure.
It's perspective.
Absolutely. I mean, a chef, I would imagine that's one of the jobs that I always say, like, you have to love it if you're going to do that for a living. Because, I mean, they're like always 15, 16-hour days, right? And you're just getting yelled at. Like, your whole reputation's at stake every time someone bites into
a bite.
If a hair is in there, that's not even in your control.
You could sing a wrong note.
Yeah.
Nobody would even know.
Yeah.
You bite into a steak that's like not good or something like that. Like,
it's crazy.
So
man.
Much love and respect to the venues out there, to the florists out there that are just, it's like, I never really hear, after all these years, I've never really heard like the food was awful at the places we're at.
Yeah.
I've really never, maybe guy needed the steak a little bit more well done or what have you.
Yeah, sure.
But it's impressive.
It's so impressive. It's so impressive. And I definitely know, like, if I purchased flowers, for my fiance or whatever, just getting to look okay in a regular vase is like at least 10, 15 minutes for me.
Well, then try hanging like beads and crystal from them and branches and like
and
on
multiply
the
it by a million. Yeah.
You can't just, as a florist, and you guys know that, are in that world, you can't just like make it in your place and then just show up and deliver. You got to assemble it. You got to get water. Yep. You got to clips and
they're fragile. So like if they're packed the wrong way and you take them out of the box, now they're all smashed. It's insane, man.
Such an appreciation.
And that's one of the things that
go ahead.
They
say the same thing, I would hope, about a band where you get 5, 6, 7 guys together. They're like, how in the world do all of you guys know the same song flawlessly and just roll into the next song?
Right.
For them, they're probably like, that's their hard work.
I think, look, it's all about perspective, like you said earlier. I mean, I'll look at a chef or a florist or a planner.
Right.
I don't want to be dealing with every little detail. Speaking of pressure, by the way, just a little anecdote. I had a nightmare last night.
Oh boy! Did I have my clothes on?
Man, that was the nightmare that you were clothed.
Hey man, I'm in good shape, bro.
No, that you clothes on was the nightmare.
Well, that was sweet of you.
Thanks, man. But so the nightmare was this, and I'll keep it fast. I was hired as a DJ. That wasn't the nightmare part, and I was dialing it in at the wedding. Like I was phoning it in.
Yeah.
My DJ booth was my bedroom, and it was overlooking. It was up like on the second story, overlooking the ballroom. And I was DJing through a window.
What?
Okay, and
I see you in like a onesie pajama,
dude. And I wasn't even dressed up. And in the dream, I'm like, dude, you're doing this wedding and you're not even dressed up. Like this is so disrespectful right now. And I'm like, but they're not going to see you. It's cool. Right. But I'm like, kind of like in this weird double world. And so, father-daughter dance comes up. I make the announcement. And the song title was Daddy Dance With Me, which is actually a real song. I hit the play button and another song starts playing. And I'm like, oh my God, the song must have, it's mislabeled or whatever. So I'm looking down through the window and the father's like looking up at the booth at me and like, I can see he's sad, but he's still dancing.
Yeah.
And dude, the nightmare part of it, my heart started racing, was how I realized I was hurting these people's feelings at their wedding.
Ugh.
And so I stopped the song and I made an announcement. And I'm like, just to reiterate, this is a dream. This has never happened in real life. I said, I'm sorry, we're dealing with some technical difficulties. It'll just be a moment. And I grabbed my phone and I unplug the thing, I plug it in, and I go on YouTube to play the real song, and I hit play, and a YouTube ad starts playing, and I'm like, oh no,
Viagra.
and I'm like, oh man, like I am just doing such a bad job today. So I think in the essence of hard work and passion and focus and things like that, I think that dream, like that was the last dream I had. I opened my eyes this morning, and that was the last dream I had.
Do you know what I believe that was? I believe, and we talked about this earlier, I believe that's your subconscious keeping you aware.
100%.
I really believe that.
100%. I think in my subconscious, I am so fully
committed. Yeah.
To not
Excellent.
just playing great music.
Yeah.
To the fact that this is such an important day for people, and it means so much to me.
And you know, if you're not in the wedding business, the pressure on the spot, you know, it's a lot. You have one shot. You have one shot
to make somebody fondly remember the most important day for the rest of their lives. And I think that, you know, we can take this into another episode, maybe, like the pricing, because a lot of consumers tend to think, you know, I've heard people say, you know, when you're looking for a venue or you're looking for a DJ or a band, don't tell them it's for a wedding because they'll bang you with the price.
Right.
Well, here's the difference between, you know, a non-wedding and a, you know, I'm sure you and I can talk about that for hours.
It happened a couple of years ago on like the news. They did this.
Absolutely, man.
Yep.
And myself as a service provider for weddings, I'm like, why are you telling people this stuff? Because there is a huge difference.
Right.
A lot of brides don't like it if you call it a party. They want it to, it's a wedding.
Right.
Like there's a reason why it's a wedding and not just we're just hanging out tonight. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
You know? So
it's fast food versus gourmet 5-star restaurant.
100%, man. 100%.
And that's it. Listen, if you, again, not to get into the money thing, but if you want a party DJ or the photographer, you get what you pay for.
1,000% of the time.
But it's still your wedding. So it's this whole, saving money that we definitely need to like go at that and attack that because it will definitely help a lot of people. But, you know, it's good, fast, and cheap. You get two.
And with that notion, you know, if anybody's watching, we always like, you know, these things are all going to be posted on YouTube. So if you're watching, you know, in your comments below, definitely, if you're getting married or you've been married or you're a vendor or whatever, comment below on something that you'd like, you know, some deeper insight on, because, you know, chances are we've both been there. I can almost guarantee you at least one of us has been there.
How many years for gigging out, like weddings and stuff? Let's do the tally right now. How many years?
Hardcore doing the wedding business stuff, 14 years. Maybe not 13 years.
So I'm 39, and I started when I was like probably 17 or 18.
Yeah.
I don't know. I failed math, so I don't know.
Don't ask me, man. I'm not a math guy. I'm a
so
music
we have
guy.
like a ton, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, whatever it is.
And performing in general. I mean, I've been performing professionally since I was 11. You know, high-level professional anyway.
It's crazy.
It's crazy,
How
man.
fast it goes.
Actually, I'll take that back, because my first professional gig ever
Did a wedding at 6.
was, you know, dude, I did the governor's inauguration of New Jersey. I played piano at the governor's inauguration. It was a private reception. There was like 800 people there, and I was 11 years old, and I performed at that. So yeah, I've been doing receptions and parties since I was 11.
They're so funny though. You look back on like
No child labor laws back then.
no child. You look back and you're just like, wow, like you learn so much about people, and like forget our crafts, but like what I learned as like people and like manners and like how other businesses operate, like all of these things. And I guess that's important for people considering going into the wedding business. Does not happen overnight. I mean, this is 20 something years, 20 years, like it takes time to build the character and the skill sets and you can easily be an a-hole to the person at the venue.
Yep.
How easy is it? Like all these years, I could have easily been like, no, man, that's effed up. You know.
Yeah.
but you can't go about it that way.
You shouldn't.
How
you know,
easy it is to...
and that's the expertise. You know, that's where the level of experience comes in, and you kind of know what people. You just it's always good to be good. You know what I mean? It's nice to be nice, as Kat would say.
Always being. I thought about this the other day in the shower. It's so easy to be an ass.
Oh yeah.
But it's also so easy just to do the right thing.
Absolutely.
And like you have to make that decision. Think about it in your life. How many times could you turn a simple argument because somebody said that you didn't like? You can be like, no, dude, that sucks.
Yep.
And then boom, there's that negative.
Yep.
Or you could just roll with it. You have your disagreement in your head and just move on. And it's like, I think that's one of my biggest things I learned.
Yeah.
Just do the right thing. That's all.
And I'll bring it back full circle quickly because we have just a little bit of time before we wrap up. It's insane
What?
how quickly these half hours
Is
go.
this like right?
We got to get more SD cards.
We're in the zone.
We're in the zone. We're in the
I don't know if
theta
anybody else
zone.
is in our zone, but
we'll get them there.
I'm in the zone.
We'll get them there. This is going to be the Just Us Meditation podcast. But I think it all comes down to focus. You know that by being nice,
Yes.
you are going to achieve what needs to be achieved that day. Your eyes are focused past this thing right here, and you're looking at that thing.
Yeah. How do you get there?
You know, never mind the problem that's happening
Right.
here. We all need to get right there. And I think that's smart work versus hard work.
Navigate nicely.
That's it, man.
Holy
On
Moses.
that note, guys, navigate nicely through 2019. This is our first episode of 2019. That's a perfect note to wrap up on. Guys, I'm Rich. This is Mike. Happy New Year from the Just Us podcast. We look forward to talking with you next week.
Happy New Year, Joe.
Peace out. I wish
Later.
half hours were longer.
That was 3 minutes
Yeah, right.
to us.
That's it.
Oh, man.
These go too fast, dude.
What?
They go way too fast.
Like, I can't wait till he turns the camera off so I could talk about, like, what just happened with that time warp right there.